Today's hearing is entitled Holding the Biden Administration Accountable for Wasteful Spending and Regulatory Overreach. Oversight of the executive branch is a vital check on the president's power, regardless of who occupies the Oval Office. In fact, I had a mentor in my first couple of terms from Michigan, the Lion of the House of Representatives, John Dingell, who taught me a number of things. One was the tyranny of the vote, which is what we just experienced earlier. Doesn't matter what plans you have, doesn't matter who you're with or where you're at, when they ring the bells, we have 15 minutes to go and do our constitutional obligation on the House floor. So that's, we're delayed a couple of minutes because of that. But the other is oversight. And in fact, I decided I was just gonna look up a simple definition of oversight. And this was what popped up on Wikipedia, of all things. Congressional oversight is oversight by the United States Congress over the executive branch, including the numerous U.S. federal agencies. Congressional oversight includes the review, monitoring, and supervision of federal agencies, programs, and activities, and policy implementation. If it's good enough for Wikipedia, it should be good enough for us in this committee to know what our lane is here, and that is to make sure that we are holding those in the administration accountable. The inspectors general before us today represent 4 agencies who touch nearly every part of our financial system. The work done by your offices is paramount to make sure that these agencies stay within the bounds Congress established for them. In recent years, these regulators have pushed those limits, leaving Congress with little or no recourse. In fact, I would argue that there's no better example than the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection, also known as the CFPB. Over a decade ago, as a response to the great financial crisis, Congress created the CFPB as an agency charged with protecting consumers. Since its inspection, the Bureau has grown to radically transform the notion of consumer protection, often at the expense of small business owners and hardworking Americans, with little to no benefit for the actual consumers. Now, I say actual because oftentimes these so-called advocates are really ginning up a paycheck rather than looking for protection. And now, Director Chopra's strategy of regulation by enforcement has left many wondering how one agency can have so much autonomy with virtually no oversight from Congress. Well, we know that the courts are weighing into that at this point. Mr. Bielek, you've led a staff that has the difficult job providing independent oversight and investigations into 2 governmental agencies, both with very different missions, but equally consequential to today's financial system. In 2022, the Fed's Office of Inspector General conducted 13 audits of the Reserve Bank compared to just 5 at the CFPB, a less than a 30% allocation. While I am aware that new programs created under the CARES Act have increased your workload, this begs the question, why did Congress fail to give the Bureau their own Inspector General? I was not here for the creation of Dodd-Frank, but I came immediately afterwards, and I've been living with the echo effects of it. Mr. Delmar, like the Fed, the Treasury's IG's office has tasked with overseeing massive programs that have billions of dollars in federal spending. Whether they be programs that were a result of the pandemic or the Partisan American Rescue Plan, the Treasury Department will face challenges in holding participants of these programs accountable for proper use of those funds. Lastly, I want to spend some time focusing on the Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC oversees $118 trillion in annual trading volume, 29,000 registered entities, 24 exchanges, 95 alternative trading systems, and depending on the day of the week, digital assets. Last year, the SEC proposed an unprecedented 34 rules, 34, with an additional 20 or so left on their most recent agenda. Mr. Sherrick, Ms. Sherrick, the IG report your office released last fall was frankly jaw-dropping. While the chair continues to push a rushed rulemaking agenda in his effort to rewrite nearly every aspect of securities law, the agency has failed to keep its own house in order. Furthermore, these efforts have been met with little question or inquiry from committee Democrats. Ranking Member Waters continues to defend Chair Gensler at every turn. Which makes the above statement so alarming is the lack of stability that the SEC's Inspector General's office has had. Since the last appointed IG retired in May of last year, 3 different individuals have assumed the acting Inspector General position over the last 10 months. Ms. Sherrick, While I have no doubt you'll be able to answer our members' questions, it is worth noting that the current acting IG has only been on the job for roughly 90 days, and will be need to replaced again in this April. Given the volume of rules currently before the SEC, one would hope that it is the chair's preference to resolve this vacancy issue in a timely manner, but then again, maybe not. Regardless, that's unacceptable in my mind. So without objection, I enter into the record the letter we sent to Chair Gensler last week calling on him to appoint a permanent inspector general at the SEC to allow for consistent and proper oversight of the agency. And I look forward to hearing from all of the witnesses, and I yield back the balance of my time.